Hello and welcome to WashU Olin's Big Idea Bounce. My name is Mark Taylor and I'm the Dean of WashU Olin Business School. After 3 years being ranked #1 in entrepreneurship by Poets&Quants, we thought it was time to team up with Poets&Quants to produce the first global pitch competition. Entrepreneurialism, the innovative spirit, is part of our DNA at Olin Business School. That innovative spirit is on show here today in 3 great teams that are competing in this competition. So, welcome, I hope you enjoyed. And we have great judges I'd like to thank, Maxine Clark and Akeem Shannon. We'll get a great, longer introduction later. And of course, John Byrne, the founder and editor-in-chief of Poets&Quants. So, without further ado, over to you, John.
Well, thanks, Mark. We're excited to come together with WashU's Olin Business School to make this event a reality today. So were our global entrepreneurs. We received more than 165 submissions, and they came from all over the world, and I mean all over the world. We had business ideas flow in from Ghana, Nigeria, Belgium, Spain, England, and Canada, India as well. In fact, the ideas were so good, so solid, that we actually had trouble narrowing them down to a top 10. So instead, we picked 12. We featured all 12 teams on the Poets&Quants website. We showed their 2-minute elevator pitches. You should look at them if you haven't already. We had in-depth profiles of each of the business ideas. And we decided, hey, why not let our audience choose a favorite? So we invited our audience to vote for their favorite team. We had more than 3,000 votes. And I can announce the winner today, and they have a low-cost food delivery idea that is sensational. Congratulations to the team. There are 2 Georgetown MBAs on that team, and we're giving them a cash prize. Now, in a few minutes, we will have our final 3 teams present before our judges. But before I do that, I want to introduce to you Doug Vilhart. Doug is the Academic Director of Entrepreneurship at WashU's Olin Business School. He is also the host of our event today. He is a serial entrepreneur who is instrumental in planning the competition. More than that, he helped coach each of the teams for the presentations you're going to see today. Doug, over to you.
All right, it's time for the big show. We're super excited to bring out 3 amazing finalist teams from all over North America, actually, to present for you for a chance to win $50,000. And that's a great prize, especially for a startup, so they're really excited to compete for that today. Before we bring them out, though, let me introduce our judging panel for a second. So first we have John Byrne, who's formerly the editor-in-chief of Fast Company and also Business Week, before he founded Poets&Quants. John, we've been planning this for a while. It's pretty exciting.
I'm really psyched.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. This is going to be a fun show today. Next up, we have Maxine Clark, the founder of Build-A-Bear Workshops. Maxine, you're in your 25th year. You have over 400 stores. You're a public company, and you've made over 200 million furry friends for young people. Congratulations on that, and thanks for being here.
Thanks, I'm glad to be here.
Wonderful. And next up, Akeem Shannon. Akeem Shannon has a wonderful new product called Flip Stick, which is in Target stores everywhere. It goes in the back of a phone, works as a kickstand. You can also stick it to a wall, Akeem, for TikToks and all the other things kids are doing these days.
That's exactly right, and I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. So great to have all 3 of you. So with that, we're going to bring out our first contestant, and we'll get this contest started. All right, it's time for our first contestant. We've got Pedal Cell here from Denver, Colorado. We have attended University of Michigan and Northwestern, so we're excited to have Vishal, David, and Adam go live today. So take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is Adam. I'm the co-founder of Pedal Cell. Our company creates the power source for bicycles. We rely on the wall outlet to keep us fully charged throughout our day. What if they suddenly disappeared? I know, it's a scary feeling. How long would you be able to keep your essential devices powered? The same devices that keep you safe and connected to the world around you. Well, this is a question that adventure cyclists need to ask themselves daily. These are cyclists who carry with them a whole host of USB devices. And if any of them go dead on the road, it could be a serious safety hazard. We made pedal cell to be the ultimate bicycle power source. The charge device is fast at wall outlet-like speeds, has a weather-resistant automotive-grade housing, can be installed on nearly any bike in minutes, and it's patented both domestically and overseas. Here's how it works. You can see we have one mounted here on a bike. We actually rented this locally. Super easy to install our product. We have our custom designed generator mounted on the rim, and as your wheel spins, it generates electricity. It goes to 2 USB ports. It's simple plug and play for your devices. We have patented technology in this product that allows us to stabilize your energy regardless of your ride speed to ensure that your devices get the safe and continuous charge that they require. We have a well-rounded team with over 2 decades of product experience. Founded the company in college. I was at the University of Michigan Raw School of Business. My co-founder, Vishal, is the brainchild behind our electronics and our patented tech. David handles our marketing. Mitch designed the mechanics of our product. He worked at SpaceX. You could say our product is designed by a rocket engineer. And we have Kyle with boots on the ground for our Asia supply chain. Pedal Cell is loved by cyclists across the globe. We have over 24 cycling publications who reviewed our product, as well as being featured on NBC last year. Pedal Cell is sold on our website for $2.99, and we have over 24 dealers across the globe. We've achieved over $250,000 in sales to date. We started marketing just 1 year ago, as of this month, actually. The majority of our orders have come from overseas. We ship to riders in over 30 countries, and we have 4 patents granted in the US, Canada, Australia, and we're currently pending in the EU. We plan to invest the $50,000 from this competition into achieving 5x revenue growth this upcoming year. We're going to do this through 3 main areas. Last year, we were out of stock for a quarter of 2021 in aggregate. We plan to invest in inventory to meet demand this year, as well as work with a new contract manufacturer based out of Texas that can produce our product faster and more profitably. By working with an overseas warehouse partner, as well as getting our own VAT tax registration, we'll drastically increase our shipping speed, decrease costs for our customers, and finally, we plan to invest in new marketing campaigns. So help us lead the bicycle in its next turn to be safe and more connected.
Awesome, great pitch. I'll lead off if you guys don't mind. While you're handing out the samples, tell me a little bit more about the product. Particularly what I'm wondering is, what's the drag? What are people saying regarding that? And what is your margin? I saw you have a 5% increase in margin, but what's the margin today?
Sure, those are excellent questions. So the drag you experience for most of these cyclists don't even notice it while riding. We have the best drag per watt efficiency in the industry, about double that of any competitor. In terms of our actual margins, we're around 60% today. We're going to over 70% over the next few years through 4 main areas. First, by moving our production overseas, optimizing our logistics. Currently with COVID, shipping stuff's a little expensive, so that will bring the price down as that improves.
I have a question. Tell me about the competition in the United States. I'm surprised that you haven't had greater traction here than in Europe. Much easier to reach our customers.
In terms of Europe itself, cycling is a much bigger part of their culture. When we actually underestimated initially how much the difference would be. But in terms of competitors, there's really 2 main alternatives today on the market you could find. The first are good old battery packs. So the problem with these is that you need to charge them up, keep them charged on your trips, and for these adventure cyclists, it goes against the whole ethos of adventure cycling. Going out into the wilderness, going where you want to go, and if you have to plan around pit stops, that could be a huge issue. The second are dynamo hub generators. These are generators mounted in the hub of your bicycle, and you need a professional to install them. So you can't move them between bicycles. It's extremely expensive. They cost around $650, and they charge your devices very slow, about 9 hours to fully charge your phone. For our product, we're less expensive than that alternative. We're easier to install, as well as having much better performance.
Yeah, what kind of market is there for this? I mean, my iPhone battery lasts long enough for me. If I'm going to go on a bike ride, that should suffice.
That's a really good question because we definitely aren't targeting a traditional casual rider or even a commuter, although we see these potential future opportunities. So who we're selling to is called adventure cyclists, and they typically do long endurance rides, either all day or sometimes even multi-day. So even though that segment is not the full cycling market, it's still a big market opportunity. So we look at that as the billion bikes globally. We slice down to the 500 million in our target countries. We slice that down to the 1% that's just the avid adventure cyclists that we look at. And that gives us our 5.25 million riders times our $300 price point. We're also really excited to be a part of this market at a time that's really growing. COVID pushed a lot of people outdoors, and so adventure cycling grew 144% year over year. It's actually the fastest growing sub-segment in cycling at this time.
How do you?
How many of them are going to even want this, though?
Yeah.
You mean of those adventure cycling
Yes.
segments? So of the people that fall into the segment, 90% say that they use devices on the tour that need to stay charged. They tend to be a wealthier income, so they spend an average of $3,000 on their gear, and so it's not uncommon for them to pay more to have that convenience. Because to your point, some riders that take shorter rides or even half-day rides, they have the option to stop and recharge. They want to pay to have that convenience. So for some riders, it's more of a convenience option. For some riders that are riding even further off the grid, it really is a need to have that as well. These riders really value freedom and self-reliance and adventure, and so being equipped to have that on their own and be dependent is what we found the customers have really valued in our product.
When you tell me there's only 5 million customers globally, that kind of scares me, I'll be honest. How do you grow this beyond those 5 million customers?
So we have a product roadmap laid out here because there's a whole lot of cyclists out there. There is a big opportunity within adventure cycling, but the whole market opportunity is around 15 billion for total cyclists out there in these developed countries. So we plan to come out with newer products, improve our product so it's a lower price point, so a more average cyclist, more leisure, could adopt it. And also coming out with an OEM business. We've spoken to companies like Trek and Specialized. Buying a bike off the shelf with our product built in is something that we've looked into. We spoke to these companies and we're excited about tackling in the future. It's also worth mentioning that our actual intellectual property has nothing to do with the bicycle. It has to do with stabilizing energy from a volatile source. And so these patents can actually be applied to different markets, whether it's ourselves or licensing it with mobility options such as automotive, micromobility like a scooter, or even a volatile energy source like a solar panel. Our patents could be applied to those markets. And again, we have that international protection on it as well.
Asking about the way to get to the marketplace, I know we have locally here some really big bike shops that are very, very popular. Some days you have to stand out in line to get in. How are you going to go about reaching those customers? They are the ones that sell me all the equipment.
Sure, that's an excellent.
Or sell my husband, I should say.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
So right now we're about 70% direct to consumer. In the age that we're in, it often makes a lot of sense to keep that margin in-house. But we do think that there's always a need for what we'd call your LBS, your local bike shop, because there's that trust, because they consult on what tools you use, and also you can see the product in person. And so we do have 30% of our sales through our dealers, and that's something that we want to grow. Right now we're a small team, and so we don't have any formal sales process. The majority of our dealers have just been shops that have reached out to us saying, hey, we like seeing a really innovative product. We think our customers would value this, and asking to become dealers. But we definitely see and want to grow more into that area, and I think it's just a bandwidth challenge for now.
On your exploration for OEM, what kind of reception have you received?
We actually visited Waterloo Trek. We went there a few years ago to their headquarters, and they loved our product, but they wanted to see it proven in the market first, which is why this whole direct-to-consumer approach and this big push that David mentioned.
I mean, for me, beyond the really prosumer market, what are your thoughts about bike sharing and the opportunity to partner with companies like that? And is that a path that you guys see?
It's an excellent question. We actually started our journey with bike share. We were talking to those companies initially. Remember the whole boom of bike shares and these bikes everywhere around the cities.
Yes.
And it was actually a huge need for power because those bikes had GPS sensors and lights on them. To be honest, our biggest barrier at the time working with them was just cost. The bikes at the time, they were trying to reduce the cost of the assets as much as possible so they can make a profit on them before they disintegrated, essentially, out in the field. Now they're more pivoting to assets that they invest a little more into. The bikes are higher quality. They want them to last longer. And also, as we increase our volume, we'll be able to actually drive our costs further down. And we do anticipate working with larger fleets, whether it's a bike share or even some bicycle touring companies that have thousands of bikes across the globe with people taking longer tours. We could add value to both of those businesses. So we do see growth there.
My other follow-up question here is, I feel like there's been a shift toward electronic bikes and people kind of having built-in battery packs.
Yeah.
So tell me where you fit there.
Excellent question. So e-bikes are the fastest growing segment in cycling. These adventure cycling is the second fastest growing. E-bikes are the fastest growing. It's a few things to note, though, about how e-bikes fit in with our product today. The first being, they're just unpopular with our adventure cycling target. They're just going on longer rides away from grids, and the idea of carrying a battery with them and keeping it charged just isn't an option. The second is we like to look at our opportunity as being much more lucrative. The reality is if you weren't in e-bikes 5 to 10 years ago, you're already behind the curve. It's a very saturated market. The problem we're solving today has very few competitors, but is growing nearly as fast. And so we think we're solving a problem that honestly needs a solution much more than just your typical e-bike market. But e-bikes are an opportunity down the road for sure. First noting, we just work on any e-bike today. If you mount our product, it will work. In fact, some e-bikes have USB ports, like you mentioned, but our product charges 6 times faster than any of those ports can provide. And lastly, our technology could also help extend the range of electric bicycles, so the whole idea of using our technology to power the battery. We've spoken to some manufacturers about that, and we're excited in the coming years to implement that after we've really worked on our beachhead here today.
Is your pricing, the $299 price point, is that because that's the way the cost is, or did you test the market to see if that price would be a volume price point?
It's an excellent question. So we established our pricing initially based off the current solutions that are available in the market. So typically for the battery packs, you might carry 2 to 3, run around $250, and that dynamo generator solution is like well over $600. So we wanted to fall in the middle and be easier to adopt since our system is an all-in-one solution. But price is something we're continually to test. In the future, we would love to lower our price point to increase the adoption so we could get to more generalized cyclists. David can tell you a little more about some of the pricing we've done.
So actually, Pedal Cell, great job. Yeah. We're out of time so far. So thank you guys very much for coming. Thank you, judges, and excellent. Good work.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Great job, guys.
Well, guys, congratulations. You made it through. Vishal, how's it feel?
Yeah, I think the pitch went really great. I think Q&A, judges asked really good questions. They were really curious about the market opportunity, how big actually is your market, and I felt like we did a pretty good job of sort of answering that and fielding those questions.
Awesome. So all these weeks of preparing for this, you're done. What happens now?
What happens now? Man, we go back to building stuff. Yeah, we're in the middle of doing a production run, our largest yet, actually, and we're currently back ordered, so we really have to move our butts and making some more product.
Awesome. Well, I thought you guys did a fantastic job. I'm curious as anybody to see who wins.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you. Thanks.
Team Pedal Cell, congratulations. All right. Our next contestant is On Deck Fisheries AI, coming to us from Vancouver. These students attend the University of British Columbia and Simon Fraser University. And with us we have Sapan, and we have Matthew and Alexander. Okay, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Doug. All right, hi everyone.
Hi.
We're on deck. So our fisheries are being pillaged, and the misreporting of catch is a huge reason why. 1/3 of everything caught at sea will never be reported. And this means fishermen keep animals they're not allowed to, like this turtle, and they keep more than they're allowed to. Today, 70% of global fish stocks are declining quickly. Now, governments around the world are trying to scale up their ability to monitor fishing activity, because think about it. Without the ability to monitor and thus enforce what's happening at sea, it's impossible to manage it. As a result, our global fish stocks today are on the verge of collapse. But On Deck is going to change that.
So in every country around the world, we have only a partial fragmented picture of how many fish are being caught. And in spite of massive investments, like $100 million a year in the USA alone, in fact, for 80% of fish species in North American waters, we don't even have a guess as to how many fish are being caught each year. And the main problem here is that current monitoring practices are outdated and inefficient. So right now, to monitor a fishing trip, either human observers will go on boats to manually count fish, or a newer technology is humans will manually review video footage from weeks of onboard camera footage. These strategies are slow, expensive, and not scalable.
Now, our solution is to automate video review with artificial intelligence using those same cameras already on board. As you can see here, our early stage computer vision model is able to easily detect fish and humans in low resolution video footage and at night. Automated video review is 20 times faster, cutting daily review fees from $300 down to $20. That's 15 times cheaper. And finally, it's highly scalable across the board.
Now, we've built an exceptionally strong network in the fisheries monitoring industry. We've identified 2 established monitoring companies to be our first customers. Together, they account for 50% of the addressable market. But don't just take our word for it. We have quotes from both their CEOs right here explaining how excited they are to work with us and our technology.
Our team's expertise includes software development, scientific research, and product management. We each bring something different to the table, coming together to make a team that's much greater than the sum of its parts. We've also been best friends for like 12 years. On top of that, we're deeply connected to a global powerhouse of fisheries and computer science expertise at the University of British Columbia. To make a long story short, we can and are actually doing this.
Now, $50,000 today creates a $200,000 impact. We've identified grant funding that quadruples our buying power. But we need this initial funding from the big IdeaBounce to unlock it. The funding today will truly launch our idea, and we're so excited to truly revolutionize fisheries science and conservation around the world. Thank you.
Awesome. Kick it off?
Go ahead.
All right. So, my question is, you mentioned that the two partners you have are 50% of the market. Yeah. Do you have letters of intent for them? And also, why are they going to use you versus doing something in-house? And also, if it's inefficient, they could charge more money. So why would they go with you?
Yeah, great question. So I can answer if we hop to the competition link. The existing observing companies, some of them are listed here on the left. And they're our biggest competition, but they're also our biggest customers. Right now, as you said, they're all reviewing it manually, and they can charge a crazy amount of money for that. But they can charge the same amount of money and spend a 20th of the time doing it and make a way better margin. And so there's lots of extra time and money and margin to go around here between us all. So at the moment, only verbal, but we're sure they'd be excited.
So what's the pricing strategy? How do you charge for it? And if you sold every single company, what would the volume be?
Yeah. So first of all, right now, we'd actually be using a pay-per-use data processing model you may be familiar with from existing software services. Mm-hmm. And so we'd be going specifically for those monitoring companies to use that. And we'd actually do that for every time they'd be uploading and every hour of use. And we'd actually then be able to charge them accordingly because we were able to monitor that as well.
So what we're really excited about here is that the market for electronic monitoring is large and growing fast. So today, more than 2,000 boats around the world already have cameras installed for electronic monitoring. And that may not sound like a lot, but keep in mind that these boats alone are incurring costs of more than $30 million a year in annual review fees. And not only that, but more boats are switching over to electronic monitoring every day. So the Nature Conservancy has estimated that by 2028, more than 50,000 boats will have cameras on board, of which we estimate an addressable market of about 30,000 boats. With current monitoring strategies, this will cost more than $500 million a year. We can do it for $30 million. And we're happy to talk more about the first customers that we're going to address here.
You said something that you'd already were doing it. How have you already proved out that model with any companies?
The business model or the technology?
The technology.
Yeah. Well, for what we've built already, you saw the demo. It'd be hard to go back to at this point. But we've already demonstrated that we can do the technology. And even more importantly, fisheries researchers at universities around the world have also already demonstrated that everything we want to do has been done by scientists, but no one's yet brought that to market. And a cool thing about science is everybody loves sharing it, but we need somebody to actually turn it into a business and deliver it to customers. And both Sapan and I have experience building business-to-business, like large-scale software at Amazon and SAP, so we're well positioned to do that.
What's the barrier to entry? I mean, why wouldn't one of the existing monitoring companies that's a whale in the market just do this themselves and put you out of business?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's something we've been asking ourselves a lot. What we found out over the last 9 months of talking to these companies is they simply don't have the background or the development capabilities, basically, to make this happen. They're all industry experts, which means they were all fishermen or observers themselves on these boats, and they've worked their way up the corporate ladder, and now they're great leaders for their companies, but they're great leaders for human review companies, and they just don't have the expertise, the knowledge, or the ability to even hire like the team and the infrastructure needed to develop large-scale software.
I think you addressed the business model question somewhat adequately, but what are your margins? What are they going to look like?
So as we've said, right now there are about 2,000 boats with video cameras installed. The two customers we're looking at for our initial launch, between them have a fleet of about 1,000 boats online, with about 1,000 more hopefully coming online soon. And right now that costs about $15 million a year in review fees to do. With our technology, as we've said, we can do it 15 times cheaper, so about $1 million a year. And what that means is that we can significantly undercut the competition while having quite a large profit margin. So for example, if we charge double our actual operating costs, so $2 million a year for this total market, that would leave us with a profit margin of 7 times, allow us to undercut the competition by a factor of 7.
And who's paying the monitoring companies?
It depends on the government of which country you are in the world. In the US, for example, and in Canada, the fishermen pay fees for the observing companies. And in Canada, they switched the monitoring over so the fishers pay the fees themselves. And the idea is that the fishermen are interested in preserving the fish stocks. It's in their interest for the stock to do well. More fish, everybody gets more money, everybody's happy.
So will the fishermen see gains here, or will it only be the monitoring companies who are saving money?
Awesome question. So our ultimate goal is to bring down the cost of monitoring, because right now it's just not possible to monitor everything going on in the ocean. It's too expensive, especially if you go where it's needed most, like Sierra Leone. They can't afford $15,000 a month in some cases. And so we hope to bring it down by a factor of 20.
So one last, particularly just on the solution. So I'd like to know, I saw it was tracking like one fish, like a tuna, but how do you track a big, net full of fish? And also, why wouldn't, as a monitoring company, why wouldn't I go to someone overseas that I can pay a fraction to monitor and just train them? Why would I use your solution over just finding cheaper labor?
Yeah. So that example was just like a bare bones example. We just wanted to throw up and show you guys, like, when there's people, it's low res video footage, it's at night, but we can actually do that for big nets. And once the fish actually come onto the boat, they get put out on a flat surface. And so once they're on that surface, we can easily track them all. And there is really like no limitation on the number of items that you can localize once you have that model working. And so for the second part, we actually can tell, like, from what we've seen and from the cost of our cloud solution that we're building, that it will still be cheaper.
So when you get the 50,000, if you win, and you take it to how long will it be before you can close the order with those 2 clients and get going so that you can prove this out?
Yeah, so we planned an initial launch in May, we think we can do. And then with this initial launch, we'll start working with these 2 customers and iterating our solution with them over the summer. And that'll enable us to tailor it, make sure it's exactly what they want. And then we'll have a full launch in the fall. And then from there, we expect to be revenue stable almost right away.
Okay, one last question. What do you guys worry about?
It's a good question. You
got to worry about something.
I do, okay, a genuine answer. I worry that what we're trying to do will never happen. Even if it's someone else that does it, I really want this to happen in the world. Because without it, I don't see how it's possible for our fisheries to avoid just a catastrophic collapse, and that would leave 3 billion people without a source of protein. It would destroy 800 million careers around the world. So I hope that this technology is put out there in the world somehow. Hopefully it's us. Yeah, that's what I worry about.
Great job, team on deck. Excellent job today. Thank you, guys. Thank you, coaches. We'll come back with the next team in just a moment. Congratulations.
Well done.
Good job.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Oh, well, congratulations, guys. Way to go. How's it feel to be done?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it was really fun to be up there and presenting. I mean, we've worked so hard on this, and it was really nice to get to kind of tell people about it.
So, what was the best part for you?
I think actually just getting to see what the judges wanted to hear about, and also being able to show them that we're actually doing something that will matter and hopefully change the world. And the fact that they reacted and they were excited and happy to hear us, that was the best part.
And anything now that it's over, anything you would have done differently?
Probably a lot. This is actually our first pitch competition ever.
Oh, wonderful.
So it was a great experience for us to get out here and see what it's like, how it's done. And you guys have put on a heck of a competition here.
Oh, thank you.
And what we do differently, we'd have to break down, and we'll be taking some notes on what we do better next time. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, this is On Deck Fisheries, and you guys did a fantastic job, and we're gonna see who won pretty soon. So congratulations. Thanks.
Thanks.
Our next contestant is my doc from St. Louis, Missouri. This is Dr. Linda Wu. She's earning her MBA here at Washington University in St. Louis at the Olin Business School. Dr. Wu, take it away.
Thank you, Ms. Wilhard. Good morning, judges. My name is Dr. Linda Wu. I'm a physician, engineer, and an MBA student. I'd like to introduce you to my invention, MyDoc. But first, I'd like to share a story with you. This is my grandfather. He passed away 4 months ago. For years, he had high blood pressure, and in the last 9 months, he was in and out of the hospital because his lungs were failing. His lips sometimes would turn blue because his heart was deteriorating. My grandfather isn't the only person with lung and heart disease. 30 million US adults have heart disease and 37 with lung disease. This will only rise with the aging baby boomers, doubling to 90 million. There's also 32 billion of annually wasted ER appointments that can be seen in the doctor's office. With improvement in modern technology, you can have more convenient visits over telemedicine with your doctor. However, it is only able to replace the conversational component. You cannot do a physical heart and lung exam. For example, Mr. Velhart, could I use you for a demonstration?
Yeah, sure.
This is a stethoscope. It is the most important tool for us doctors in the physical exam. Normally, I will listen to a patient's heart, like this, and also their lungs. Which I can't do over telemedicine. This lack of vital information leads to inaccurate diagnosis and also ineffective treatments and poor health outcomes. I have the solution for you. Introducing MyDoc. MyDoc addresses the third dimension of telehealth, the physical exam. It is an at-home wearable device that you can wear like a vest with listening sensors for a remote heart and lung exam. It is an at-home stethoscope. As you can see, this is the outside of the MyDoc where you can wear it like a vest. And on the inside, it has listening sensors on the front and in the back to listen to your heart and lungs. It also has EKG sensors, which evaluates the electrical health of the heart. MyDoc is the only consumer-friendly, self-operated wearable product that can automatically obtain medical-grade exam data and decrease user error as well as improve health outcomes. During our customer discovery, we have received feedback from 25 people, including doctors and potential consumers. 100% of patient consumers report that they want physicians to examine them, and they want a device at home to monitor their health. Physician feedback includes that MyDoc will provide a more comprehensive telemedicine visit by providing them information for medical decision-making. We have a diverse team of MBA and undergraduate students with years of industry experience, including frontline physicians, biomedical engineers, usability experts, financial analysts, and innovative product consultants. Healthcare is changing. There's increase in telemedicine use, there's expanding high-risk population, and there's skyrocketing costs. MyDoc will be the only consumer-friendly, self-operated wearable solution where you can wear for a remote heart and lung exam. It will also be not only improve patient health, but it also increase access, convenience, and affordability to healthcare. By investing in MyDoc, you can help millions of people. Some may be your own family and loved ones. Thank you.
Wow, great job. So
Thank
I think,
you.
My question is, how much does it cost and who's paying for it? Who's the market for this?
Yeah, so the double question. So we have the McKinsey market report that shows that telehealth industry has expanded over the last year during the pandemic. It is 38% higher, and the utilization rate has stabilized. In 2020, the market has shown a $3.2 billion market with a growth of 8.3% into a $250 billion market. So in terms of our device, we estimate that we'll have an actual customer of 4 million US consumers. And as the human body is the same worldwide, the TAM Samsung will only grow as we expand internationally. And then your other question was who the actual consumers will be?
Yeah, who's buying it? How much does it cost?
So in terms of cost, let me just show you. So our value creation comes in 3 streams. One is revenue, social impact, and environmental impact. So in terms of value creation and the revenue model, initially we were just going to do a one-time sale for each MyDoc, bringing in about a profit margin of about 50%. But after customer discovery, we realized that not everyone needed a MyDoc at all times. Some people may need it shorter, some people may need it longer. So we decided a subscription model was going to be more appropriate. So you can rent it for either months or years, depending on your own medical needs. In terms of renting it, we have a price of $150 per year with a lifetime value of about $750 over 5 years. We are conservatively estimating that MyDoc will last about 5 years, costing us $250. So that leaves a profit margin of 67%, which was even higher than one-time sale use. The other important discovery we received from the customer reviews is that there is very little databases out there with heart and lung sounds. So potentially, the data collected of heart and lung sounds could be more valuable than the actual remote service itself. So what we plan to do is we plan to save the de-identified data and use that with machine learning and artificial intelligence to build an automatic detection of heart and lung disease so that it can notify the doctor and expedite the patient's care before it gets worse. We can also sell this data to other companies that are building useful tools to improve patient care and also population health.
So do you think it'll be easily covered by insurance?
If it can show a benefit, it will. Because ER costs are about $1,000 to $2,000 per visit. If we can prevent one ER cost, then the MyDoc will be worth it alone. And there are many people who often, as they get more health conditions, visit the ER or need routine and further workup that doesn't necessarily need to be done all the way.
So it seems that the opportunity is really first in the fact that the person now could have, instead of coming in for a visit, can now have telemedicine, which saves a huge amount of money, time and travel and all of that.
Yeah.
But the other part that you just said, which I think is really important, is the opportunity to predict something's different if you're wearing it on a constant basis. I mean, I don't know that if you're just putting it on for your doctor's visit, that's necessarily going to give you that information. But you'd have to be wearing it on a more, constant basis to spot a problem.
Yeah, so in an otherwise healthy person, you don't have to wear it 24/7. But let's just say you feel like something is changing. You can put it on for exam data collection and then take it off. Usually you don't have to gather so much. You don't have to wear it all the time. So by having this at home, if you feel like you're getting sicker and sicker, you may put it on for a device and a check-in, maybe every day with your doctor or whatever you determine is appropriate. But the convenience, like you mentioned, is very important because there's a lot of population. So what I didn't cover is our device population. How we determine that is first we looked at the available market. The available market, we determine where the more homebound individuals, such as senior citizens, immunocompromised individuals, parents with dependents where they can't leave the home easily, as well as rural patients. And that was 33% of the US population. So there's many people that could have benefits with this. And that increases value as you have more chronic conditions, medical conditions.
Now, I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
Is this a product or a service?
It's a product.
Okay, so why don't you sell it to other telemedicine firms instead of directly to a consumer?
Yeah, so our go-to-market plan is really the key of understanding who our consumers are. So first, our patients are device users, our physicians are influencers, and the healthcare system and the insurance companies are actually our economic buyers. So first, we are convincing the doctors that this will provide utility for them as well as benefits for their patients. And the patients, everyone we talk to, of course, they need to be on board, but they've welcomed this product with open arms, so I don't think convincing them will be a big issue. And next, we'll show the healthcare systems and the insurance companies that MyDoc will actually save them money in the long run by preventing further workup or unnecessary workup, as well as healthier patients will be cost saving in itself.
So is your plan to market direct to the consumer, or is it to, use like a Salesforce or prescription model to convince doctors to subscribe this to their patients?
The second one. So convince doctors to prescribe it to patients because they need to be on board as the other end user, and they are the ones who will be able to recognize that, yes, you need more appointment. I'm seeing you every 2 to 3 months. This could help you save time in traveling. This could help you in environmental emission costs, and this could help you become healthier overall, especially if you're one of the marginalized, underserved, and rural patients.
So follow up, how will this $50,000 grant, what kind of traction will you get from that? Like how realistic is it that you can get this product created?
As a brand new startup, our first priority is building the MVP. So we currently have a draft of our design, as well as in the process of buying equipment to build a proof of concept prototype, which we will finish in the next few weeks. But in this meantime, as we get more of a proof of concept and an MVP, we'll get more and more traction. And we'll keep working with consumers and doctors to build an easy to use and accurate MyDoc device.
Are there any competitors?
Yes. So So in terms of our competitors, we're looking at three kinds: the in-office appointments, the remote, and the wearable. So in terms of the in-office, we are clearly, they're inconvenient to use. In terms of the telemedicine, we already established they do not have the heart, lung, and EKG exams. Now, you may have heard of a Holter monitor that provides you with an EKG, but it does not listen to your heart or lungs. Next, you have the popular Apple Watch. So the Apple Watch does provide you a very basic EKG, but the MyDoc EKG is a medical grade. The Apple Watch also does not listen to your heart and lungs. It stays on your wrist. Two other products more similar to MyDoc is the Echo Duo and Tycho Care. The Echo Duo is a digitalized stethoscope that doctors can digitalize the heart and lung sounds or heart sounds that they find. And it also has an EKG functionality, but nowhere on that website do they mention anything about listening to lungs. The Tycho Care is a handheld consumer device where you put it all over your body to listen to your heart and lungs, but it does not provide you with an EKG. For both the Echo Duo and the Tycho Care, the accuracy of the exam is dependent on the user putting it on the correct location on the body. As most people are not medically trained, this invites for user error. So it will lead to frustration and inaccurate exams. And this is what we mean here. In terms of MyDoc, as you remember, it is a vest that patients put on. So the listening sensors or the sensors inside MyDoc is strategically placed in the correct location. So it decreases user error and improves the exam accuracy. For both Echo Duo and Tycho Care, the user has to place it on various locations. And if you remember, I had to place my stethoscope on Mr. Vilhart's back. What then? They need a second operator or a caregiver to help them with that task. Conversely, MyDoc has sensors in the back where the user can use it independently as well as self-operated.
So once you get the MVP up, how long do you think it will take to get into production and get into action?
So in terms of FDA approval, it takes about 18 to 24 months. So after getting the MVP up, we're going to need FDA approval to get this. And then with the data, we can show providers that this is really effective and can save them time, money, and also provide better service for their patients. So after the FDA approval, we need to go to market and then reach consumers. Our initial plan to go to market is the local St. Louis area. So start with partnerships with smaller clinics and hospitals in the local area. With the WashU School of Medicine here, it is actually a giant hub.
So I'm thinking your biggest
challenge. John, I'm so sorry. We're out of time. We're out of time. But thank you very much, Dr. Wu, for coming today, and congratulations. All right, Dr. Wu, how's it feel to be finished now?
Oh, it's really relieved. I'm really glad that Poets&Quants gave us this opportunity to be here and present our idea.
And so what was your favorite part out there?
I think the favorite part is telling the audience about my product and that this could be beneficial to people in the future, could help millions of people in their lives.
Wonderful. And if you could do it all over again, would you have done anything differently?
I think being further along, if we had an MVP to show, if we had patients that we helped, that would be definitely helpful. But we are where we are, and hopefully we can get the funding to make this a reality for people.
Wonderful. Well, I can't wait to see who wins. Congratulations for coming this far, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. All right, we've made it to the end of the show here, and we're going to announce the winners of WashU Olin's Big Idea Bounce, $50,000 prize to the first place. However, you guys worked so hard, and you've come so far, I don't think we could give away just one prize. So we're actually going to give away a second place prize and a third place prize, okay? Second place prize, $5,000, and third place prize, $2,000. Okay, so you've already won something, so that's kind of exciting, okay? All right, I'm going to announce the winner right now. Except guess what? There was a tie for second place. There was a tie for second place. So two teams are actually going to win $5,000. How generous. And another team is going to win $50,000. Okay? So it got better already. Okay? It got better already. So I'm just going to announce the winning team. So congratulations. Oh, and thank you, judges, very much. Congratulations. The winner of WashU Olin's Big Idea Bounce $50,000 prize is Pedal Self.
Over my head right here.
Yeah, you gotta wear it.